everybody, and welcome back to a new episode of the TypeScript Tea Time. I'm your host Mirko and hope you're having an awesome day so far. We're going to continue even more on our daily questions app, the self-improvement app to implement or simplify Master Goldsmith's 6 daily questions. And how we're going to do this? Well, first of all, let's look at what we did last time. We included daily notifications. So if I, for example, set this to 11:18, we get a notification, or I have to set it to 11:19. That's also fine because the time just switched. Yeah, so in 1 minute we should get a notification that says something like, "Oh, please do your dailies," or "It's time for your dailies," and that works. And I did try it on my phone. For whatever reason, the review took a bit longer this time from Google, but when it was finally reviewed, it worked. Yay! In particular, the part where when you completely reboot your phone, that was the one part that didn't quite work on the emulator. Gotta fill in some tea. That's important. It's one of the two parts that didn't work on this emulator here. That worked perfectly fine, as well as the icon that we have. Can I show it? Yeah, this icon also was displayed just perfectly. And this did not work in Expo Go, the Expo emulator. But on my actual phone with the installed app, it worked just fine. So that feature is actually done, and we can write !done day notifications BAPS, and it's done. And the next one that I want to do is a little bit of history screen. So we already kind of display the history with the help of the statistics, but I was asked whether it's possible to just see the individual elements. In particular, you do not see the full text answers here. So what I think, to alleviate this issue, we're going to do a little stream we're currently doing. We add a new section down here, or maybe somewhere in between, for the history. And that's basically going to be kind of this list, or similar to this list, with the difference that when you click on it, you basically go to this summary screen, which we can see at the end of our dailies. This one. Then you have a back button to get back to the list. And then here you see just the summary kind of. I think that should work out fairly well and do exactly what we want. So let's get to it, huh? Shall we? First of all, here's to you. And it should not be too terrible. Just let me do a quick audio check here. Yeah, audio is working. Everything's good. Let's get back to the Black Mages, which I'm currently listening to. Black Mages 2, which was the band of Nobuo Uematsu, the famous composer from Final Fantasy 1 to, I don't know, 10, 11, I think 11. And then sometimes he was co-working on the later titles as well. So let's get to it, shall we? We already have this history thingy, which I think works out just fine. So if we add a history screen in here, .tsx, and we use a React Native function, then we are already pretty good. Next thing that I want is probably hook it up to Redux. Let's see. I think by now it might make sense to put this into a VS Code snippet, to be honest. So let's do that. What you can do is VS Code snippet generator. There we go. So your snippet looks something like this. Let's make $1 here, which means the cursor position will first move there. Then state dot $2, $3, and then remember to add to wrap your component, your exported your component in connector, and then we just put our cursor just right here, I would say, $4, yeah. And with that, we can say something like Redux toolkit state and dispatch. Map state, map dispatch. Tab trigger, I suppose Redux or RTK. Just Redux, I guess. And now we can just copy this snippet on this side, can open our user snippets, and in my case I think I put most of it inside of here. Let's just put it down here maybe. And that should do the trick. If we now go to our history screen and we say, well, Redux, bam, there it is. So what kind of state do we need? I think we also need a couple of more things, but yeah. I think we also need the imports. Let's try to add those. That's 1. That's 2. If we just write this on top of here. Snippet again. A snippet. You. So I hope that it does it properly. So Redux, vamps, and then we say something like history, which is probably what we want. History.history. Apparently we need to import you as well. Save. It doesn't move it to the top, unfortunately, which I was hoping for. Which is what I was hoping. I want one more right here, so we can import it. Import it 2, 3, 4. Do it again. See whether it works. Redux, vamps, state, history. Oh, did I mess up? I did. This should be $1. Redux once more. Good. Import. Fine. oops, Redux, history, and dispatch. We do not have any dispatches in this case. Oh, why? There seemed to be another mistake. There's a $1. Oh, there's a $4. $5. Then we can say props from Redux here. And we're good. And we have to remember to wrap the connector. Or the component with the connector. Okay. Next. I think what we need here is a flat list. Which one? That one, maybe? Flat list. You're not imported. You are imported. So we need to provide it with items or something. Data. There we go. And we need to provide it with render item. So let's call this const historic item. History item. Which again is a functional component which receives some properties and returns stuff. What does it return? Probably something like a list item. We also have a React Native paper list. I need to double check that. React Native paper list. Is that a list that can be reloaded? Box. List. Ah, it's a namespace, okay. Oh, is it? List section. Then we have these kind of items. How does a list section work? Doesn't seem to be loading new items as would be the case with flat list. So can still use it, I guess. So one list item. How do we do it in the other list? Maybe just so we do not introduce new patterns unnecessarily. Let's take at least a quick look at how we did it in the questions list screen. We have a scale decorator apparently, which is from our library so that we can just move it. And then we have list items. Okay, that works fine. So history item, it does receive, I think, item, because that's just the way that this flat list is designed. So we have to unwrap it twice. Item. And in here we can say something like item dot, probably, was it title? Or date, maybe, date. And the data comes from Redux, which is the history. So history, data, history. So now render item receives a historic entry. I suppose we can just say then this is a historic entry for maps, which does have indeed a date. And that's our screen at the very, 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 very simple version. Next thing is to hook this up with our navigation. and for that I do need to make some changes. Can do that in a second. Customize questions. I suppose below the statistics is fine. History. History screen. And this becomes routes : history, I guess. So need to provide the localization or translation. Routes. There it is. History. No. Allow in German. English. Here is history. And in Japanese it comes. Is that the right word? Yeah, be lucky. Perfect. Then this one now errors because it does not match. History does not exist in global drawer param list, which is defined up. We link this drawer takes specific values, and we just define them down here. And I think these are the parameters that they take, and they all don't take any parameters whatsoever. That's why we have this here. And that should be it. So I still have the app running. There it is. Let's reload ever so quickly. There's our history. There's our history screen. Nice. Nice, very nice. I think we can decide load. Well, we can do that later. Let's take care of the styling first. So list item has probably a description or something like that. Yeah. And that is item dot use dot. So that's the questions of this item dot map. No, we want to. Yeah, no. Yeah. We want to map them. Question maps to question dot answer. And we then want to join all of this fun stuff with a space, I suppose. We also have to filter. Oh, now this is the part where things start to get messy. The question becomes, which of these questions inside of this item are actually point question? Because now it just shows everything, which might be a bit too much. So that you might be able to see that these are mock values, all of them. Now we need to unite this data. I think we have to map it earlier already down here. Let me use questions. Oops. Const. I don't know, let's just call it mapped history is equal to history.map. We have an entry. That's an okay name. And now things get messy. Now things get messy. The simplest case, we just return in. What do we actually want here? We want questions, which is entry dot. Oh, we want the date first of all. That's an easy one. Entry dot date. Then we want questions. Yeah, we want questions. I have questions. And now we have to take into account all those questions that are already archived, in fact. We probably want, since this is the history, we probably want to show them as well. Hey, Chipahihi. Good to see you. Welcome, welcome. How are you doing? Here's some tea for you. Cheers. We're currently building a self-improvement app where you, every evening you answer these kind of questions. The goals question is, did I do my best to set clear goals today? And then you give yourself an evaluation between 1 and 10, 0 is 10. For example, well, I did pretty good. I updated our to-do list here, particular. So let's say I have a 7. And with this, you're basically doing a little retrospective every day, assuming that when you're actually thinking about your day, you will eventually improve. React Native, more or less. I didn't use it professionally. Originally, I'm a backend developer. I'm kind of doing everything a little. Not an expert in anything. If you kind of, TypeScript is probably my expertise. But I manage, let's say it like that. And I do already have one app in the Google Play Store. So I've been using it for quite some time. I wouldn't say that I'm an expert, depending on... Anyway, the word expert is very much depending on the context anyway. As you might notice as time goes by, or probably even now. If you've learned and worked with something already, you're like, oh, okay, I can do that. Or at least I can figure out how it works. But even the most senior people, there will just be a new technology, probably. They kind of did something similar, so they don't start from zero, but still they need some time to get used to a new syntax and new ideas, maybe. Yeah. Yeah, I'm looking forward to talk to you too. I'm currently situated in Germany. Where are you from? From the Pahihi. I cannot tell. Sometimes you see usernames that you can fairly well tell. Oh, okay, probably that country or that country, but I cannot tell from you or either. If you have JP in terms of Japanese, that would be amazing, but probably not. Yeah, so you answer these questions. That's the basic idea. You can call me JP. Yeah, from the Philippines. Oh, sweet. I had a friend from the Philippines when I was visiting Japan. We are all each other's students. We are all each other's students, I would say. Everyone is a teacher and a student at times. Is the stream working? Bitrate? Did my bitrate crash? No, it seems fine, okay. Everything's good, I hope. For whatever reason, the stream froze for a second. On my screen, at least. Yeah, so you answer these questions. Let's just skip through all of them. You can also give yourself like a question like, did I do my best? Or what was my personal highlight today and why?
JP Pahihi joined our tea time.
And also welcome to the tea time. Here's the tea that was originally brewed or poured into your cup that you've seen there. Welcome to the TypeScript tea time. I'm Mirko, by the way. And at the very end, you see the summary screen. You can confirm it, that adds it to the history. And then you can also share it, because I used to do this with a friend of mine, or I still do. And we communicate with each other over WhatsApp. It probably does. At least depending on the it's always a question of how much, right? But the right degree of, in particular, green tea can be very, very beneficial to your health as well as mental abilities. You're using React.js. Oh, nice. Yeah, it's very, 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 very similar to React Native. In fact, I started React Native to learn React.js. And after that, I got a job working with React, and it wasn't too different, let's say. The concepts are very, very similar. If you know one, you probably know the other, except for the details of the platform. Working with a browser is different than working with a phone, because the concepts are probably still the same, but storage works slightly different. Talking to the internet works slightly different, and so on and so on. But other than that, React still stays the same. You have your hooks, you have your TSX or JSX, XML in JS or TS, and so on. So they are very, very similar. And you can probably read this as soon as you know that view is just your regular div. So here's a div, you have a paragraph, a P. Touchable ripple just makes it so that it does this wave thingy. Then you have another paragraph, some styling. Very, very similar probably to what you know from React. Once we're finished, can we do a casual project using React.js? We did recently one, although it wasn't casual. We recently did do some React with AWS, where we built a web shop. You can find that in the history. So if you go to the quality varies probably, but if you go, isn't there a way to see the history? Shouldn't there be a way to see the history? See my channel. So I was pretty sure that when you open the main page, you should be seeing something like past streams or something like here, something like that here, but it doesn't show on my screen, at least not. But that might be because we're currently online. I'm not sure. Yeah, that's pretty much what we did. But yeah, we can probably do that. It's a fun stream. I will be using TypeScript, definitely, because we're the TypeScript tea time after all, not the JavaScript tea time. If you're not familiar with TypeScript, it's kind of a superset of JavaScript. Everything you write in TypeScript will then be transformed into JavaScript. Yeah. I see you're not that junior after all. Judging from what you did. Oh, Is that so? No. It is growing at the very least. Let's get into this one. We were probably able to do another CRUD application with a framework that I just love. It's called Nest. Yeah, it's Nest. And it has a nice little cat. I'm a cat person, so don't blame me for being entranced by the cat. That's a framework that I use a lot of the time, also at work. With this, it's very easy to write a CRUD application, a CRUD backend. We did do a stream on that as well. Maybe if you... We did do a stream on a CRUD generator with this one. So if you look at the documentation of this, there is something like recipes CRUD generator. And then you basically just write nest generate me a resource, and it generates you all of this fun stuff. And you're pretty much done. That's your REST API. Of course, you have to link it up with a database, most likely. Go away and press continue on React Native. Yeah. So let's do the history screen that we were about to do. We have to do some mapping here, and I think we did do this already on the statistics, in fact. Selected, get all questions selected. Is that it? Not quite. Didn't we do something like that? Somewhere? Here we just use those questions. Filter those questions. Not quite. I'm a freelancer. Currently, I'm on vacation, and I really enjoy it. Yeah. After having worked like a half a year without vacation, I was like, oh my god, I need another couple of months vacation, and that's where I'm currently at. I'm also preparing for a bit of more travel to Japan. So that's what I'm also preparing. Japan currently has annoying visa requirements, but that's why it takes so long. Freelance vacation. Freelancing brings with itself its own responsibilities and challenges. Like having to actually fight for your money if you have a bad recruiter. That can happen. I was kind of lucky so far. You get your money much later than you would normally. Basically, everything is shifted 1 to 2 months. Even though you already spent 2 months working for a company until you get basically your first paycheck. Depending on how you set up payment terms with them and so on. So it does have its own. You also have to take care of taxes and all of the annoying stuff. It's not all rose red, but it does come with benefits as well. Yeah, if they ghost you, it can be terrible. Yeah, I was lucky so far. So let's get into this one. From the history, we have to now pick out the correct questions. So this becomes questions dot. No, wait. entry.queues.map. We have the question here, and then now we have to find the correct question inside of questions. Find queue maps to question template, let's call it, maps to question template.id must equal the ID of this entry question. Maybe let's call it like that, entry question. Queue. Entry question sounds like a question that you start entering, but that's not what I mean. No. Anyway, const found question or matching template is this, and now we can return an object which has an answer, which is entry question.a. It has an ID, entry question.id. It also has a, what exactly? A title probably, or name. Matching template dot name. Why do you say your type any? Because I do not have you linked up here. So we're using Redux here. We're using Redux in this case to control the global state of our application. And from there we get the questions, which is something like, oh no, now I broke it. Name doesn't exist. Title apparently. And then question long. Matching template question long. Anything else that we need? Type. Type is important. The type. And that's about it, I suppose, for now. So now this has the form that we need. I do want to pull this out probably into a function though. Back into a, not in a function, my bad. In module scope. Map history. So this should exist if we import it. There we go. And now we can instead provide the mapped history, which now does not quite fit our item specification here though. So pull this up so quickly. We can use a slide trick type of, I'm lazy, so that's why I'm using the return type. This one at position 0. Is it working? Yes, it does work. Yeah, so that's the correct type now for the item. We already have the date, and now we can go over questions and we can map them. No, we can first filter them. We take all those questions that have a type of points, which means questions like this, not a question like highlight, which is just free text. I am free text. So we take all of those points question because we want to show them one after another. Oh wait, Now I remember. Answered questions. Ah, that's where we did it. Yeah, okay. Well, this is basically the same code again. Fine. And now we map. What do we map? We want to map to question.answer probably. And then we join them together, and this should give us just a list. Oh, what did I do? A list, as you can see down here. So this is 7 for the goals question, 8 for the progress question, 8 for the meaning question, and so on. And if we go to our history, we should now see the same. Yeah, there we go. Nice. Very nice. So that's that. Where are we? Here we are. We probably want to actually, since this can be very, very long, the history might be multiple years, which means this might even be 1,000 entries or something. We probably do not want to, I'm not sure. Maybe it's too much, but maybe it isn't. Then again, it doesn't really, does it change? Oh, it does change, so we probably do not want to use, I was thinking about using caching here to increase speed, but I think it's not necessary after all. It will probably just bring us more trouble than we might expect. There's a nice phrase from Dijkstra here? Was it Dijkstra? One of the most famous and important, with a J apparently. Theoretical computer scientists, maybe one of the first scientists ever. I think he was the person who said there are only 2 hard things in the world. Oh, it was Martin Fowler. 2 hard things. Was it? No, it was Phil Carlton apparently. And one of them, 2 hard things in computer science, one being cache invalidations. So we probably don't want to cache, so we don't need to cache and invalidate cache. They just avoid errors. Why did my music stop? Thank you. All right. We have this summary now. Have this summary now. And from there, so it looks slightly ugly too. But let's continue on for the time being. On press probably. We want to navigate. So we want to probably use navigation. It comes with the library that we're using. React native navigation, or is it just React navigation / native? Yeah, React navigation native. Be right back. All right, see you in a minute. And from here, not sure actually that. How did we do it on this screen? Edit question. We just have a basic detailed screen, and then it gets filled with more stuff. So do we need a sub navigation? I think we do at this point. Yeah. So history nav.tsx. Let's check out how we did it for the questions, because we probably want to do something very, 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 very similar to this here. And I don't like to think twice about the same problem. That said, nested inside a drop. So let's see. Base app bar. This is the main question, and then we have our subscreen down here. Historic entry screen. .tsx. React Native function. And then we just say, well, maybe some text, blah blah, or as a placeholder, paragraph. Work. Now we can import it right here. We want the back app indeed. Want routes dot historic entry. And we want routes.history up here. Edit question is probably not what we need. We want historic entry. Yeah. Still need to change this. And the translation. So let's start with the translation. Where are routes? Routes. There, historic entry. Ideally, well, let's just take that one. But I think we have a to-do here, because this should be the date, probably. For the time being, let's just stick with what we have, and then we refine as things start to come together. So we have our history nav. We need our parameters here, so we do something like historic history nav.ts in this case. Questions, navigation, take all of this, put them there. Then we have history, fine, and we have historic entry. Do not have you. We rename this dude to history stack params list, and this one to history navigation pro. They'll just help us for TypeScript. What was it? History param list. And now we get errors here now, thanks to TypeScript. If these would not match the screen names. That seems to be working fine. And from there, we have to link up the history nav instead of the history screen, I think. So let's go back to our general navigation down here, and we can instead use the history. Apparently we want show header false. that right? I think it broke. Something is broken. Ah, cannot import this line here. History screen. There we go. Reload. Requiring unknown module 38. What? Let's maybe restart the server. Open. So, history. Everything is broken. Let's see. Invalid hook call. Hooks can only be called inside of the body of a function component. Where does this come from? Navigation app. History nav. Man, that's a long stack trace. History screen, apparently. History. You don't like this one? One more thing to check. How did I solve that on the customize quest? And questions nav has customized question. Oh, okay, there's a... I mean, this is not shown anyway, so we can just can use this to renav maybe. Change. Renav. Capital N. Are you happy? Please be happy. That's fine. That's just Redux being 13 milliseconds too slow. Nothing to be concerned about. Okay, that works fine. That works fine. This part works fine. Now, history item. Take an item from data and analysis into the list. Typical usage. We need to write it like this. Item. Maps to. Item. We can use a safe closing tag here. Does that make a difference if we use navigation now in here? On nav is does that make a difference? It does, apparently. Okay, interesting. So these errors, yeah. Oh man, sometimes it can be weird. It doesn't recognize it as a functional component now. But if we do it like this, now it becomes a functional component and everything is fine. Because why ever? I cannot even tell why that's the case. Let's drink some more tea. I think we've deserved it. So in here we can use onPress and do a navigation.navigate to. I think we need some values here, which is now history navigation prop. Now we should have historic entry right there. Nice. And then we need, I think, item. So currently we have defined, so up here we have defined that this does not take any parameters, but it actually does, because we want to have the ID, we want to have the title, we want to have question long, we want to have the answer, most likely. Oh, this is, the type is wrong, I think. We want this type. Shall we define it in here? When will I be employed again? When I decide that I have enough of vacation, and when I finished my trip to Japan. So maybe November, December, maybe next year. I don't know. I'll see. We will see. So let's see. Historic entry param is what he says. You need to be an interface. There you go. Actually, it's harder to watch anime in Japan than it is in the Western world. Artemis, oh, thank you so much. Welcome back. Good to see you. Artemis coming in with 8 months already. Man. Wow. Cheers to you. Here's some tea. Thank you so much. That's very generous. Clink. Thank you for being a supporter of the tea time. And good to see you. How are you doing? How are you doing? So let's finish this type here, historic entry params for BAMs. I think we can also take this down here, where I've included this beautiful type, return type of something, of something, of something. We need to export it. So, and now we should somewhere get an error. Or we do not get an error anymore. Yeah, so this did get errors, but now with item, we exactly fill the requirements. And if I click this, we should actually be redirected to the historic screen, historic entry screen, which currently just says blah blah. Woo, it works! Very nice. And here, I think what we should get as params is in fact, what we should get as props is in fact a historic entry params. So we should be able to do something like this. Props dot, or let's just say json.stringify props null, comma 2. There it is. No, it does not. Oh, apparently. It's much more, in fact. It has a route, it has params. Okay. So this has route, colon, which has then params, which is a historic entry, something. So we want route.params. And that's it. There we go. So now we just have to render it like we did on the summary screen, meaning this screen up here. Hello. Highlight. Thank you very much for being awesome. Partnered with double Z. Phew. There we go. So we want it to be rendered similar to this. Bams. Historic entry. And well, that said, we probably can take a lot from here, huh? Okay. I see. We didn't bother moving everything out so far. So the basic thing should be this. And we can take that here. We do not need this stuff. We do not need that stuff. We do need the scroll view. We do not need the app bar. So. And we probably also need styles. Suppose we can copy the styles as well from over in the summary screen. I was about to talk about the watching anime in Japan. Yeah, here in Europe you have Crunchyroll, which has a lot of anime, basically also for free. But in Japan, Crunchyroll is not accessible that much, and most things you actually have to buy, and it depends on the place. You can also not it's also hard to watch anime on TV. There's ads or commercials, let's say, like commercial breaks, and B, they run about at midnight. It's not like cartoons here, which run on Sunday in the morning, but it's more like, yeah, let's run it at midnight. Yay, great. Oh, wrong import. I want you there. And that's very unfortunate. So it's surprisingly hard to watch anime in Japan. Unfortunately. So let's change this one into today. Params.date. We need the T function. So const or use translations. That one. Import. Oh, that was the wrong one. We want to import our local version. There we go. This probably needs to be changed, but currently I'm just trying to make it work first of all. Where did we filter out the point questions? Here in the description. Okay, very good, very good, very good. Everything's fine. That being the case, I think we can maybe do something like this. Const stuff is equal to props.route.params. And then we can use date, we can use questions. And here, take questions. And we take questions down here as well. We do not have any on click, so that goes away. Do not have on click, I said, so that one goes away. And date, we can just use date. Go. Now, cannot find name, blah blah. Points answer. There it is. And full text. I will just take them for now. From there. We do not have a touchable ripple here. In fact, I can remove all of them. Do I need a theme? Okay, I guess. Give that. Oh, that was the wrong button. We want to use React Native Paper. Native Paper. And up here also Native Paper. Remove the on click. Remove that on click. Remove that on click. That on click. And now it might be undefined, apparently. Well, you might be undefined. Works. Me. And maybe that's it. Events. There we go. That's it. So shall we be bothered and change this? I don't think we should. We could do something and instead change it from here to there, but then it becomes less. No. Perfect. Perfect. Yeah. No, I like it. More of a problem is this screen, in fact. Let's look at it in top right. In non-dark mode. History. Yeah, it worketh. It works. Can confirm and share this one. Dailies added to history. Okay. So we should see this inside of here. 19th. There it is. Awesome. Thank you very much for being awesome, Artemis. So change this maybe just to see that it actually even updates. Yeah, thank you. Down here, yep, also updated. Awesome. I think we're done. Do I bother to make this look private style? Use this? Yeah, we use it. Points question container, we use it. Points answer row, we use it. Answer title, full text question, we use all of those. Button, we do not use. Go away, button. I think we're done. So read a key entry. So let's ignore that. We just keep it. Oh, whoa, wait. Oh yeah, that's fine. German, it's Eintrag. Is that even a word? Historic entry. Switch back to settings. Language German. Eintrag, perfect. You can also switch, by the way. If we just swipe to the left. Nice. Maybe just details. Maybe details is a better word. Hey Leo, good to see you. Welcome in. We have all the regulars here today, huh? Nice. Almost. Cheers on you. How are you doing today? So since you were there yesterday in particular, and we yesterday, let me switch to English. Probably don't speak German. We did add the notifications yesterday, maybe if you remember. Yesterday? The day before yesterday? I don't know. And it does work. It also works on after I reboot the application. Everything works fine, but it only works fine on an actual phone. Interestingly. But here I have a nice icon also for the notification. Basically our daily questions logo. This logo here. Just in white instead. And yeah, everything worked perfectly fine. And today we are working on adding or showing the history. We already have the statistics where you basically see your history, but it can be hard to grasp. And in particular, you do not see any of the text entries. And since my tester was asking for a list of just seeing the values, that's what we added today. It's this beautiful list. Yeah, you can click on it and then you see basically the summary screen, but nothing here is editable. You can go back and take a different one, and it just works. Particularly, you see the questions, and let's see, we have mock data. If we add a question that does not exist, non-exist, say this is 2, 4. We mock our data again. Good. Experimental statistics, danger, clear history, by history, danger, replace history by test data. There it is. Now we should see this entry here. What is the second run, right? Yeah. If we see one more value than in all the others. 1, 10, 10, 1, 1. Why is it missing some of the values? Wait. 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 That's the right entry, first of all. 6, 1. 6, 1, 2020. Ah. Because I didn't duplicate it. Okay, let's duplicate this once more. So 2. I want one of them to be non-existent. Oh, this one is duplicated. But only here. Okay. So one of them must be non-existent. And let's do that again. Remove all of them, replace with mock data, see the complete history. Now we see 2 entries. We do not see all of them, huh? Why is that? I think we do not have these 2 questions in our questions list. And we also do not have it in archive. Which cannot really happen on user devices. Oh, it can happen. It can actually happen if they use the import functionality. Then they might essentially add any kind of ID. So why is this cut in here but also in here? That's the bigger question. Probably when we map our history, something is not perfect. Questions. Description. List item. We use the complete item here. What if we just for the loads? If item.date equals 2022-0402, then I want to log this. Item.questions. Did it work? That was so fast. I have no idea whether it actually worked. These are undefined. Ah, there we go. And the ones with undefined aren't showing, huh? The ones with undefined aren't showing. What if we do or fall back to this and maybe we actually even use this one? Not found. Maybe. Not helping, huh? Or do we need to re-render completely? Okay, now it says not found at least. That's the wrong one. 02. It does not render the whole list. Interestingly. Why? We seem to be getting the full list. but the historic entry screen does not show. Because the type also becomes undefined. I see. So if we duplicate this for just a second, type equals undefined, and I remove all of these, which I probably want to do anyway, because I don't want localized logic inside of my data model. If we reload once more, go to history. That's okay. It just took 20 milliseconds too long to render, to calculate. There we go. There we go. I mean, what we can do is or q.type is equal to undefined, and we need to put this into braces. Q.answer is number. Is there a Lodash function for that? I think that's right. Number primitive or object is integer even. There we go. So if a points answer is not found, wait, the answer is there. The question is whether the title is there. If not, we take our T function, our translation function, use translation, already imported, and we say history not found. Question not found, maybe. And then we need to define this. Translations. About general. Do not even have a section. By the way, get rid of that one. History not found. Then we just say found. So then we do need to do one thing. Edit inside of these translation keys so that I didn't get to the point where I can do this automatically. The TypeScript stuff. So get rid of the U and add U. Then we say did not nicht gefunden. Let's check on our Microsoft Translate UI. Not found. Japanese, they apparently say. The website became slow the other day. website. You can do it. And do your own website. Do your best. Huh. German working better. Oh, well, there we go. Okay. 見つかりません. Let's do this. Not found error. On Wikipedia. How do they call this? We don't even have a German page for this? Or Japanese? Ah, okay, never mind. German, Deutsch. Do not have a German page for this. Seriously? Japanese? There we go. At least. Not the font. Okay. Guess we take that one. One does not exist in German. Ah, there we go. Not found. Nicht gefunden. What did I use? Nicht gefunden. Yeah, okay. Works. Found, not found. All right, and then I think we have to do the same pretty much for this dude. This undefined and is string from Lodash. And we can also just use the type of with the string, but whatever. In that case, we want to take the full text answer to title, or again, we use translation. We say T history : question not found. And I can remove the part below here, which I duplicated to identify the error. Not found, not found, something else not found. Works. It's still, it is only a fallback, so I suppose you gotta live with it. Switch this to first German to see how it looks. Nicht gefunden, nicht gefunden. Okay, and in Japanese, I'll switch back to dark mode. And there we go. Works. I would argue. Okay. All right. Anything that we're missing now? So this one looks fine, I think. We can, first of all, we can stitch. Never forget stage. Apparently we still have some console.log inside our code. There is one. Get rid of all of that. Those can stay. That's just the logger, which I do not have included, so that's fine. And other than that, History nav looks fine. History nav is included. Have this component now, which does duplicate a bit, but whatever. And we kind of misuse this button. We might want to use something like accessibility elements hidden, which I think means that the item is not hidden. Accessibility role, it's just text. Because we're kind of misusing the button here to make it okay-ish looking. Accessibility state, disabled, expanded, selected. I think there's one more that we want. Accessibility, north, invert colors, live region, state, value, accessible, I think that's it. False. If I remember correctly, React Native accessibility. So the other day I found this, and we have accessible. When true, indicates that the view is an accessible item. When a view is an accessible element, it groups its children into a single selectable component. By default, all touchable elements are accessible. Native focusable. We want this to be false because it is not focusable, in fact. I think it's. And what is an element hidden? Boolean value indicating whether the accessibility elements contained within this accessibility element are hidden. For example, in a window that contains sibling views A and B, setting this value to true on B causes VoiceOver to ignore the elements in B. We don't want to ignore it. We just want to give it a text. Or make this basically into a text instead of a button. Yeah. Not ideal, maybe. There's probably a better way to do this. Are we good? We might be good. On this at least. Add that one. Move that one. What else do we have? We have these parameters, which is okay. And TypeScript helped us with identifying the issue by, fortunately, showing that in the child it is indeed undefined. That's the navigation. It works. History. Yeah, it works. And the history screen, which works as well. I'm not sure whether we will get into load issues here because of the size, but we will see. I'm fairly sure there was a way to in flat list to only render a specific amount. Flat list. The Somali dev. Welcome, welcome. Good to see you. Got some
The
tea?
Somali dev
Yes.
joined our tea time.
React Native. So what I want is not render all 70 million items, because this might be 1000 items. So rendering might take quite a while. Somali dev wants to play T-Wars. Okay, let me just take a very quick look here. Key extractor is not what we want, I think. Is it? I mean, we can of course add that as well. Item mapping to item dot questions dot date, I guess. It should be unique after all. Pretty much. The real one that I want is extra data. I think. Extra data. On show underlay, on height underlay. Data. Okay. Well, let's play T-Wars, I guess. Where is it? T-Wars. T-Wars is a little game that we've developed on stream, and all of you guys in chat, there it is. I guess the chat is on that side, at least on my devices. We will be able to play together. Here are the rules. In just a minute, when I write a specific command, a monster will fall down onto this screen, and then you guys can _join into the chat, or !attack, that also works. !join into the chat to join our little game. And we will fight this monster together in a Final Fantasy style, so turn-based. The monster will attack on a timer. It has an ATB bar below its health bar. And between each monster turn, we will get one turn ourselves. We can heal, we can attack, just regular. We can make some magic. Use some magic on the monster, and yeah, try to defeat our fiend. So imagine you're walking. It is autumn. You're walking through a forest. The leaves below your foot, they do. But all of a sudden, a specter appears. A gruesome monster from the depth of hell. !join into the chat. You get one of those characters then. So everybody who wants to join, !join into the chat, or !attack, both work. And then you can start attacking. The monster is about to attack. Oh, that was a hit. Fortunately, a fairly soft one. Out of it, I think it can do 20 damage. It was only 2, if I saw this correctly. And then we can attack ourselves as well. Ah. Again, a hit. Let's kill ourselves with some magic. Why did it not do the animation? I don't know. Maybe I broke some stuff. That is to be expected. Let's give it another attack. There goes some damage. So again, !join into the chat to play T-Wars here with me. Let's use some fire magic. Oh, also just a very tiny hit. Maybe the spectator. Spectator? Apparently it's a spectator. Oh, that was a good hit from the spectator, unfortunately. Maybe it's more affine to ice magic. Did I already attack? Ah, I didn't. I made a typo. Or it must be completely immune to magic. looking at it. Fire and ice now. Oh, but that was a nice hit for 13 damage. Exclamation mark join again into the chat. Them to help me here on this quest. Am I about to die already? No, not yet. On this quest on defeating the spectator who tries to disturb our nice little walk in the autumn leaf colored forest. We're about to like a couple more hits, I suppose. That was not too bad. 7 damage in. More damage out. Take 3. Is it doing the music? Yeah, it does. Okay, perfect. One more attack. Oh! Grumpy Game Dev, good to see you. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm currently burning. Oh, how are you doing? How was your stream? We're currently playing a round of T-Wars. Do you want to join? I think I'm about to actually finish. Atlantia King, welcome, welcome. Welcome, Raiders. So shout out to the Grumpy Game Dev. Let me spell this correctly. We have to do it like so. Yeah, there it is.
Code Red Games joined our tea time.
Welcome to the TypeScript Tea Time. Also, Raiders, welcome to the TypeScript Tea Time. We're currently working actually on an application. Also, Atlantia King, welcome.
Atlantia King joined our tea time.
Since we're already in the middle of it, let me restart this. You can play with me here on stream using the chat that you have here on your side that you're already very, very familiar with. Doing okay. I have to lurk and do editing. Being an adult is rough. I've brought you my milk contents near to well. Nice. I've never seen those words actually being used by somebody, but I love that you're doing it. That you're using them. All right then. Thank you so much for the raid. Everybody check out the Grumpy Game Dev. He's developing a fairly retro dungeon crawling game. At least that's what I've seen yesterday. He's probably doing more stuff. So check that out and give him a follow as well. So we can be playing together now. As soon as the monster falls down, feel free, or please, write exclamation mark join into the chat to join the battle against a fearsome shadow monster. Look at it. Its twisted body. So exclamation mark join into the chat to help me here on the quest against this fiend. And normally we actually had a complete backend for this, where your HP were actually persisted across multiple runs. You received XP and so on. But currently that's not running. We're currently doing kind of the light version where everything gets completely reset every time. Yeah, and thank you so much for joining into the battle. Again, the rules are this: you can use any of those commands. Attack, fire, ice, heal. That's 5. Let's do it. I'm a huge Final Fantasy fan, so that's why this is very much. Oh, that was a big hit. Charge! Get the shadow. Yeah, we completely developed this on stream, by the way. At some point, at the very, 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 very beginning of my streaming career, which was about a year ago. not that much ago. Let's do some ice magic. So exclamation mark join for the people who still want to join, for example, Code Red Games. Also, Arch. Yeah, let's give you some heal. Exclamation mark heal at Atlantia and King. The heal actually, if you do a group heal by just writing exclamation mark heal, it is less strong because it's a group heal than when you do a heal on a specific person, just like you have in like Final Fantasy 12 and 10 and all of the other guys. Was there a group heal in Final Fantasy 10? I can't remember. Did you guys play Final Fantasy or any of the old school JRPGs? I would call them. Oh, that was a very, very weak heal with just 1 HP. Oh man, that hurts. Was it the 19? They haven't played. They are worth it. At least if you like any kind of story-based games, they are very, very much worth it. Final Fantasy 7 in particular, it got a remake, a remaster, complete remaster. No, it's a remake. In fact, the gameplay even changed only recently, and it's still a good game. It's made way more. You're getting focused. Ah, I see. Let's do some heal here. Time screen tea time. Yeah, it immediately switched focus the moment you announced. Let's do some more fire magic. Only 1 damage, man. Oh yeah, you did it! Explosion! Nice! Thank you so much! We did it! Dun, 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 dun. I think I should switch off the other music so you can actually hear the game music. GG! Thank you so much for the game. Usually your HP would be persisted, your XP would also be persisted. Oh, up here. Wrong direction. They would both be persisted, but I'm currently not having the backend running because I do not have enough space on my device. Shame on me. Previously I had a MongoDB running that worked as a backend. Currently I do not have that. It's just the light version. The light version we actually developed so that everybody can just insert the... Do I still have that online? At some point I put this complete code is running in the browser. And it's listening. Yeah, you basically just load the page, you give it some parameters, something like, so if I switch this off, it looks like this, the URL, and I'm fairly sure I put this up on an S3 bucket, so it's public, but I forgot where. I need to double check it. So everybody can actually just put their own name here. So for example, the grumpy game dev might put his own name here, and if he wants, he can also add other moderators you can actually start around and invite a monster. But as soon as you have done that, you can just play it on screen. In fact, it works perfectly fine. Whether you use a browser when you do screen share, or whether you use a OBS overlay, which I'm using, which I was using. You might be seeing here that it actually connected to the Grumpy Game Dev chat. So if we go back to Grumpy Game Dev, and we would be chatting in there, and we write !ambush, or at least if he writes it, we would be able to start around, and he he could immediately include this in his stream as well. Or if you are interested in this and including it in your stream, feel free. I don't mind. I would need to double check where it is actually hosted though. Yeah, so feel free to reach out to me if you want to do that. I have to check the URL again. I'm fairly sure I did put it online. If I didn't, it's also easy to do it, like after the stream, for example. What we were up to now. So actually, we're currently using building a self-improvement app. There's a leadership coach, one of the big ones, in fact, who work with people from the World Bank and other also multiple Fortune 500 companies and so on and so on. The CEOs, in fact, of those companies. Basically, you have 6 questions that you ask yourself every evening, ideally. For example, the goals question is, did I do my best to set clear goals today? And you answer by giving yourself points between 1 and 10. 0 is a 10. And then you answer the next question. Did I do my best to make progress towards my goals today? Oh, yeah, we did pretty well. We did get slightly... Okay, that's a new one. Anyway, distracted. Did I not put a 7 there? Oh, okay. And then you answer all of these questions. We also have full text question if you want to customize stuff. My highlight was getting rated by the Grumpy Game Dev. Thanks again, exclamation mark. And then you see the summary. You can confirm it and it gets added to your history. Let me just switch off. Usually you have like 2 buttons, a confirm button and a share button. Confirm it and then you share it. For example, if you want to send it as a message to a friend, like so, which is what I've been doing for like 5 years or something, using WhatsApp, until I developed this app, which automates everything. So I'm the biggest customer of this app, in fact. We have like statistics, where you can see where you can identify patterns in your question answers. For example, if we can only show the goals question, wow, we didn't do so well for most of the time, but all of a sudden we're doing better. Maybe we can identify some pattern or trends inside of there to help us with getting better, like self-improving, improving ourselves. We have a history which we are adding today, or which we have been adding today. Basically, again, you see the summary screen, but it's not editable in this case. We have customization, so you can completely customize your own questions. So instead of using a goals question, I want a awesomeness question. Did I do my best to be awesome today? And I'm controlling this since it's an emulator from my keyboard, fortunately. Save. There we go. And now you even see it here. You can also reset completely and then you see it here. And some settings like available in currently 3 languages, English, German, and Japanese. We have notifications, so each evening at 9 by default, you get a notification, and dark mode and light mode, in fact, also import and export functionality. Yeah, and if you do these questions for a very long time, in particular, for some time, probably even after 1 week, you will notice a difference. You will start noting a difference. If you want to know more about those questions, That's the YouTube video of Marshall Goldsmith, who's explaining the idea and the way this whole thing works and why these specific 6 questions, at least the original ones, have been chosen. The highlights question is like an extra from us to display that you can also have questions where it's full text. So that's not part of the default questions from this methodology. But yeah, that's what we've been building. We already have a page on the Play Store. That's not it. You're on Google Play. There we go. But it's currently still in early access. Only two people, me and my tester, are currently using this in terms of, or in preparation of actually releasing it, which should be soonish. I hope to be in production, or at least in open beta, in like 2 weeks latest. And then you can get it on the Google Play Store. We do not, while we are using React Native, in fact, I do not have an iOS device. So I would, if you want it on Apple Store, which is possible, but I would need help from somebody. I cannot work on iOS, unfortunately, because I only have a Windows and a Linux. Currently we're using Linux. Yeah, that's what we're doing. So if you like it, give it a like. You guys already followed, so very good. If you want to know more about it, also to the other people who have not followed yet. All of this is, by the way, open source, so you can open source. You can find everything on the GitHub. Usually I use this GitHub page. Currently, it's a slightly different project. It's in here. Yeah, also feel free to follow on Twitter. You're very much invited. Yeah, so everything is open source. If you're worried about your safety, you can just look into it completely. Everything is up here. And it's MIT license, so feel also free to change it. What I would like to ask you, though, is to not copy the logos and so on. Those are licensed. While the code is licensed on the MIT, files and assets are not. Yeah. Pull requests welcome. If you want to get into React Native, or you're familiar with React Native, in particular, if you want to do the iOS part, it would very much be appreciated. I cannot do that myself without at least getting an iPhone to see stuff. So one thing that I was about to do is, when we render this history view, we render like 1, 2, 3, 20, 30 entries already, and that's just because the history already contains 30 entries. The history, since you're doing this, you have absolutely no idea about iOS. Me neither. So we're two. Birds of a feather flock together. This history might, and it will, include 365 entries. 700, what's the double? 800, 712? Maybe? No, slightly more. 732, huh? I think is the double of it's 2 years. Black Lion, thank you so much. Cheers to you.
Black
welcome.
Leon _ joined our tea time.
By the way, what are you people working on? I'm always interested in seeing what other people are working on. How are you doing? Like Lion, good to see you. That's a nice name. Or is it Lyon, like the French one? Because it's a Y, not an I, right? You're remaking a game you made in December. Oh, very nice. What kind of game? I'm into gaming, as you might have guessed from this T-Wars. A grid game where you need to capture as much colors as first as possible. Ah, sweet. I remember these. What was the last grid-based game? There was this 2400 something game which was very popular for just a short time. Oh, you have an opponent doing the same thing. Interesting. And as fast as possible. Ah, nice. So collect. I kind of imagine Collect 4, but in real time, but slightly more probably. I do like these kind of capture the flag games or capture territory games. One of my favorite games ever was the PS2 version of Star Wars Battlefront 2. Sorry, I'm so used to saying it in German. And it had, one of the great things here was it had a mode where one of the main modes was control points. Capturing control points and then defending those and capturing more. That game was amazing, or is amazing. I still play it from time to time when I visit my parents, because the PlayStation 2 is there. Unfortunately, PlayStation 2 is like, sometimes it starts working, it stops working, unfortunately. But it is an amazing game. And I was so excited for the remake. But the remake is so crappy. It's just another first-person ego shooter, yet another Call of Duty, which was very, very sad. I find, but the original for PlayStation 2, that was just one of the best games ever. And I still, from time to time, I again have the idea of doing a capture the flag or capture the place. How did I call it earlier? Control point capturing game. But that's slightly over my head, I think. At least when I'm just using Phaser and I do want to not spend too much time, unfortunately. But maybe, or if you have some idea of about those types of games, I would be interested. If it's open source, by the way, Atlantia King, feel free to share the link as well. Okay, particularly if it's on itch.io for free, it would be. I would probably check it out if it's running in the browser. So one thing that I was looking into now. One thing that I was looking into now. This history gets very long, and I do not want to render 1000 list items at once, even if they are fairly small, as you can see. The way you can do this with we do have the touchable highlight already. The way we can do this with flat list is by using load data or something like that. This game is local one-on-one, so playing it alone is kind of useless. I see. But the new version is playing against you playing against the bot too. Ah, very nice. Very nice. Yeah, looking forward to that. Keep me updated on that one. Very nice. So I think flatlist has some value, a markup property for telling the list to re-render. This implements pure component. If any of your render items, header, footer, depend on anything outside of the data prop, stick it here and treat it immutably. Me not sure. Me not sure. I'm fairly sure we can render more stuff. Refreshing. It's not a browser game, it's just in the window. Ah, I see. In C++. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Yeah. If you had been using Unity, I don't know anything about Unity, but I know there is a way to let it run in the browser because there are multiple games that do that. But with C#, it's probably not possible without any extra tools, at least not. Somehow scroll. Maybe we should look at a flat list React Native guide how to load more data. Then C++ at school, so the thread is just a way to keep practicing. Oh, very nice. Very nice. This might be it. Key extractor. Enable empty sections, render item, data source. Where's data source? I cannot move. Use state. So they built it themselves. Item separator component. Oh yeah. One tiny thing that we can at least do is item separator component. We can just use a divider, I think. Divider. Oh, there we go. It looks slightly more list-like. Render item view, key extractor, list footer component, render footer. I'm fairly sure that there's a simpler way. One that is more built-in, kind of. Okay. CSS is not working on this page, apparently. Yeah, they do it again like this. That's exactly the same as earlier. Handle load more. Road. We have a handle load more. Handle. No, we do not. Okay. Well. Acceleration rate. Data and fill. Maybe we leave that for another time. Because looking at the time, I think I've got to run as well. So we have our basic list, which is good. It looks slightly empty, huh? Isn't there a better way to render this? Isn't there a better way to render this? List item Oh, we have a left and a right component in here. Can we maybe put the, if we put, instead of putting it in the description, we might be able to put it into right. This needs to be a, okay, do that, const answer numbers. That's what he says. And right here we now have a function. Why do we do it like that? Element is not assignable to type. Yeah, it needs to be an element. Title. Selectable, color, font size, okay. We cannot just put text here, can we? Answer numbers. No. I'll return to the React element to play on the right side. Okay. Subheader. Subheading, I don't know which one. Oops. Subheader. Answer numbers. Get rid of that one. Does that work? No. We have to make it a function. Something is broken. There it is. This one is wrong. But that didn't work. Do we have to reload? No! Unable to solve list. Why? Unable to resolve module list. That works. Okay. So we just make this into text for the time being. I first want to make it work, first of all, as you might imagine. Ah, there we go. It's not absolutely terrible. Might be a bit overwhelming though. I guess we stick with the one before. Just the description. Description, answer numbers. Yeah, for the time being that works. Not the most beautiful screen. Be right back. Alright. I guess we take it. We take it. We say feature, and this time it becomes a new category, history. History screens. Bam, is it? Save. And in fact, that's one more version that I want to version and copyright. 14.0. And in fact, I suppose I can also upgrade all of these versions here. 14? Yeah. Sure. General. v1.14.14.0, Android v14 as well. Yep. But that's just coincidence. Push it. Yeah, before building this and pushing it into the Play Store, I will think a bit more about the style of this history screen, because it looks man, but I don't know how to do it better. I need some input from outside, I guess, on that front. But I think that's it for today-ish. I thank you so much for joining. We can also switch on the music again. Should be hopefully running. Yeah, so thank you so much for joining. We worked on the history screen today. There are a couple of more things to do, I think, but we will figure those out. And then I think we're pretty much close to actually releasing as well. So thank you so much for joining. Thank you so much for the raid once again, Grumpy Game Dev. Thank you so much for all the follows that we had today and the subscriptions. Yeah, and thank you for spending time with me. This is the TypeScript Tea Time. I'm Mirko. We're working today on the Daily Questions app, a self-improvement app where you ask yourself 6 engaging questions every evening, and over time you will improve, almost certainly. Let's take a look whether we can rate somebody. This time there's probably nobody that I know that is streaming, except for the Grumpy Game Dev who rated us already. So let's take a look. Timbodo is doing stuff, and since you were talking about C++ earlier, he's doing C++ apparently. Let's rate him. Rated channel Timbodo. So thank you so much everybody. Hope to see you next time in the TypeScript Tea Time. Goodbye then.